The Micah Parsons and Dallas Cowboys drama, contract dispute, and potentially severed, ended, soon to be ended relationship story has another tick, another chapter in it as we progress through the summer. August is here and the NFL news cycle is starting to ramp up. I absolutely love it. And sometimes where there's smoke, it's just smoke. And sometimes where there's smoke, there's actual fire. For example, the Terry McLaurin news that came out yesterday that he requested a trade. How many times have we seen a wide receiver want to get a contract, they don't get it, they request a trade, and then they get a contract? Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, etc. The list goes on, and Adam Peters in Washington is used to it. However, this Micah Parsons situation, I'm starting to believe where there's smoke, there's actual fire. And we could have already seen Micah Parsons' last game as a Dallas Cowboy. And there's a lot of reasons I believe this. And before the Cowboys fans begin commenting saying that, the Micah, we don't need to pay him, we should trade him, when I talk about, because I'm going to say this off the front, Micah Parsons is top 5 at his position. He deserves to be the next highest paid player. And for some reason, on my social media, Cowboys fans have taken offense to this. And they've said, it's not about if he deserves to, it's about if we can for the sake of the franchise. My counterpoint to you is, if you couldn't, Jerry and Stephen Jones should have already known this and should have moved him before the draft. That way you could have had young talent in for this season. So if that is your argument to me, your front office should have already done better. My reaction today is off of the circumstances at hand that your front office put in place and now what needs to be done. Before we talk about my opinion on the matter, I want to show you guys the news sources here. Diana Rossini. Breaking. The Micah Parsons Cowboys relationship has deteriorated to the point where the star pass rusher is considering drastic measures, which could include a trade request or even a declaration that he is severing his relationship with the team. Per multiple league sources familiar with the situation, the two sides remain far apart heading into the second week of training camp and are not currently negotiating. And this gets even crazier because I want to pull up Rossini's next tweet about this. Among key issues, Micah Parsons spoke directly with Jerry Jones over multiple days in the spring. So, we're in August and this started back in the spring. The team has believed those conversations were negotiations and that it had a deal, multiple league sources said. But Parsons believed the talks were just conversations and wanted his agent to handle the negotiations. When his agent attempted to start negotiations, the Cowboys declined to engage with him and told the pass rusher that they believed they had already had a deal. Now the team is refusing to engage with Parsons' agent at all, creating a tense standoff and increasing friction. This is insane. The Dallas Cowboys, Jerry and Stephen Jones, are refusing to have contract negotiations with Micah Parsons' agent because they are under the impression there was a handshake deal in the spring with Micah. Now, obviously, we'll never know. Was there actually? Was there not? Was it a miscommunication? Or is Micah going back on his word now that he saw TJ Watt and Myles Garrett get a bag? I don't know. And neither do you. But this is getting very, very messy in Dallas. And this isn't like the Terry McLaurin situation, like I said, where I think like the resolution is like they're just going to meet in the middle, probably a high AAV, less years. Micah Parsons is just entering the prime of his career. Micah Parsons is due for north of $40 million per year. And this is going to be a long contract. This is the big deal for Micah. The Cowboys aren't going to get away with giving a short end offer. Now, the Cowboys obviously have control of in terms of contract where you could franchise Micah for 2 years after this year. So it's not like the NBA where you could just demand a trade and get one. But ultimately, if the tie is severed this bad, that the two sides won't even negotiate because whether Micah's going back on a handshake agreement or Jerry Jones is being a big baby or a little bit of both, I don't know. This feels like we could be headed towards Splitsville. Adam Schefter was on, I forget what the podcast was, but he basically was asked which of the deals he thinks is most likely to get done. Trey Hendrickson, Micah Parsons, or Terry McLaurin. And he said conversations had stalled on all of them. He said he wasn't sure, but he prepared fans to be ready for a potential trade and said, hey, this isn't the first time we've seen something like this. And the situation he compared it to was Khalil Mack with the Raiders. It was time for him to get paid. We all thought he was going to get paid. And then a week before the season, he's a Chicago Bear. This Micah Parsons situation very much resembles that to me. Team drafts star pass rusher wants to get paid, disgruntled with organization, shipped out. Micah Parsons, we've talked about this ad nauseum when it comes to the Cowboys. Can the team actually even afford to pay him Dak and CD and still put together a competent roster? That's another reason where it's, are they just going to cave? With the Commanders, it's like they could afford to pay Terry McLaurin. Will it be an overpay and will they regret it in a couple years? Maybe. But can they afford to and still be compete? Yeah. Can the Cowboys? I'm not sure. So with that said, at the back end of this video, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about some of the teams that could potentially trade for Micah Parsons. Because when I think about where Micah would be traded, right, I don't see the Cowboys, who are, their goal is to compete, right? Whether or not you think they're a contender is a conversation to the left. It doesn't matter. They think they're ready to compete. They won't be trading him to Washington or Philly in division. Detroit would be really surprising as they're a Super Bowl threat. Same for San Francisco and the Rams. It's going to be either what is presumed to be a lower half NFC team or an AFC squad. And that team has to have a ton of money. The first team that came to mind instantly for me was the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots were shopping this free agency. They wanted to overpay T. Higgins, couldn't get him. They wanted to overpay Chris Godwin, couldn't get him. You know, they paid a ton for Milton Williams. Like, they were looking to acquire talent. They don't have an edge rusher at the moment. Milton Williams is an interior defensive lineman. You have Harold Landry, sure, but that's not Micah Parsons. They are the number one fit for me. In the AFC, not a direct threat to the Cowboys. Have the money to pay them. Have draft picks and young players that the Cowboys could be interested in. You know, you throw in a Jalen Polk or a Javon Baker or a Kayshon Boutte and give Dallas another wide receiver. Maybe a Ramondre Stevenson, you give them a running game. I'm just saying, just spitballing ideas. Number 2, the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks were very rumored to be in on Micah Parsons, and it's the only NFC team I have on this list. Pair him back up with DeMarcus Lawrence. You won a decent amount of games last year. You go from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold. You have DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, Reek Woolen, Devon Witherspoon, a very loaded defense. Mike McDonald builds out his dream defense. They terrorize teams left and right. The New York Jets. The New York Jets have money. And Aaron Glenn, defensive-minded guy. What's going to be the strength of his team? Defense. Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, Micah Parsons. We'll see if it works out with Justin Fields. But the idea, the general premise is you're probably going to have a rookie quarterback next year, and both of your tackles are on rookie deals. So you could afford to overspend on an edge rusher. The Raiders. We'll see how the contract settlement goes with Christian Wilkins, but I think that that's certainly a feasible outcome. The secondary is not great, so they have to win at the line of scrimmage. Max Crosby, Micah Parsons, like best pass rusher duo in football instantly. And a sneaky team, Indianapolis Colts. Not this year, but going forward, they have a ton of money. If they are to move off of Anthony Richardson and or Daniel Jones and bring in a rookie quarterback, you're not paying the QB. Their wide receivers aren't pricey. Their corners are on pretty solid deals. Parsons, Kwity Paye, Latu Latu, DeForest Buckner. Those are the teams that jumped out to me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. This Micah Parsons situation has gone from bad to worse in Dallas. Truthfully, I don't know who to blame, because if there was a handshake deal in place, you know, you think you should honor your word, but it's a cutthroat business, man. It is a cutthroat business, and, you know, just like in real life, these organizations are looking out for themselves, not you. The Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones are looking out for the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones, not Micah Parsons. So when Micah Parsons sees TJ Watt and Myles Garrett get $40 million, Micah Parsons is, I'm looking out for Micah Parsons and Micah Parsons only. And if we're not going to negotiate, we're not going to have a deal, ship me out of here. And of all the Trey Hendrickson, Terry McLaurin, Micah Parsons drama, after the report from Rossini today, I'm kind of inclined to think that Micah Parsons is the most likely trade candidate, which is not something I would have thought I was saying a few weeks ago. If you love the NFL and you're not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel, hit that button for all your reactions like this, tier lists, prediction videos, instant game reactions, you name it. This can be your central hub for NFL content. Hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. I will catch you next time. Peace.